Good morning, third graders. It's good to have you coming to your video solutions for your word problems. So remember, these are going to get turned in, but I just want to give you a little bit of support to help you make sure that you're doing these correctly. So we're going to look at Tuesday's problems first, and then we're going to take a look at Wednesday's problems that you're going to do today. Tuesday's problems were yesterday. And so you can check both of these days' problems as we go along. So our first problem said, Mom said that Haven, Max, Larry, and Jacob will have to share the 48 pennies between them for their penny drive at school. So if you know what a penny drive is when students bring pennies and put them all together and then they donate them to a good cause. So it says, how many pennies will they each take to school? So if you recognize that we have a total, and notice the word share is in there, they're going to share the 48 pennies. Now, when you share something, that means you're taking a larger amount and you're going to divide it equally between groups. Or you might know the number that's going to be in each group. But in this case, we don't know because it's asking us how many pennies will they each take. So this is a division type of problem. So we're going to take those 48 pennies. And remember, I'm asking you to label your equation up here at the top of the directions. It asks you to label. But how are we going to share these pennies? Well, in the first sentence, it says, Mom said that Haven, Max, Larry, and Jacob will have to share them. So we're sharing them into groups. And we have 4 groups because we have 4 children that are sharing these pennies for their penny drive. So these are, we could either say students or children. Let you make a decision how you want to label that. And we want to know the number of pennies each one of them is going to get. So total pennies, all of the pennies, we're going to take this large amount and break it up into 4 smaller amounts, and we're going to know how many objects or how many pennies are in each for each child or in each group. So 4, let's say 4 each child. Now remember, I asked you to model this, but if you know your quotient, and that's what we call the answer to a multiplication sentence, or division sentence, we have our dividend, we have our divisor, and we have our quotient. Again, dividend, divisor, quotient. So we're going to take the 48 pennies and divide them equally into 4 equal groups. I'm going to use a bar diagram to help me with this. So I have 4 bars here. Each one of these bars is representing one of these students. So we're going to take the 48 pennies and we're going to share them with all the students. This does not mean that they each get 48 pennies. That would be multiplication. Then our problem would say they each get 48 pennies. How many pennies do they have? So that's the difference between this being a division sentence, problem and a multiplication problem. Okay? So there's a difference. Okay? So let's just say, for example, if I don't want to put a penny in each one of these, let's think of something that might make it easier for me to break this up. Well, I know I could at least put 10 pennies in each. And the reason I know that is because 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 40. So I've already shared 40 of these pennies by putting 10 in each group. Now all I have to do is take the 8 left and think about, okay, well, I'm going to take 8 pennies now and share it equally between these 4 people. So that would be 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and finally 48. So 10 and 2 makes 12. So each child is going to take 12 pennies for their penny drive. Okay, let's take a look at our next problem. Our next problem says Patrick, Tyson, Sam, and Lynn, so again we have 4 people, are each buying an art supply kit that costs $9. So they're each going to spend $9. How much money will they need to buy the art kit? Or art kits, I guess we should have said here. Kits, art kits. So in this case, we know how much each one of them is going to spend, and we know that there's 4 people that are going to spend this money. Now, notice it's not saying that they have $9 to spend between all of them. It's saying that they each are buying the kit for $9. So, Patrick is buying his art kit, and that's $9. Tyson is going to buy his art kit. Sam will buy her or him art kit, and Lynn will buy an art kit. Now together it asks you how much money will they need to buy the art kits. Well, together they are going to need 9 plus 9 is 18. So that's 2 groups of 9, and another 2 groups of 9 would be 18. And 10 and 10 is 20, and 8 and 8 make 16. So I take the 20 and the 16, put it together, and I have $36 that they need together, total. Now, I'm going to take my understanding of that and write a multiplication sentence. So we know that this is multiplication. We're going to take our 4 people, which is Patrick, Lynn, Tyson, and Sam, and we're going to know that each one of them is going to have $9 that they're going to spend on this art kit. $9 each spent on kit. And we want to know the total amount of all the kits. And so in this case, we can write the $36 there. Okay, so those are Tuesday's problems. Make sure that you have labeled your equation and you have drawn me a diagram to go with this. Okay, now let's take a look at Wednesday's problems. So we're going to look at Wednesday. First problem for Wednesday says Justin plays baseball for the Red Rangers. Oops, typo here, Red Rangers. If he hit 5 home runs in each of the 9 innings, so if you know anything about baseball, there's 9 different innings or 9 different periods. And each period means that the batter or the both teams have either batted or played the outfield. So if he hits 5 home runs in each of the 9 innings, how many home runs did Justin score? Now, if we look at inning 1, let's just start drawing ourselves a diagram. The first inning, we're pretending that Justin's playing baseball and he hits 5 home runs. Just going to put an H there for home runs. Then he goes to bat for the second inning and he scores another 5 home runs. And we can continue this pattern for every inning. Now it says that he has 9 innings and he is hitting 5 home runs for each inning. So 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings, 7, 8, nine innings. And in each inning, he is going to have 5 home runs that he has scored. Now that would be a pretty high scoring baseball game because I don't think usually you have that many home runs. But for this problem, let's just say Justin's a super duper player. Okay, so this is a multiplication sentence, if you haven't figured it out by now, that for each inning or each group, which is my inning, there are going to be 5 home runs, and your home runs are the objects. Now in this case, they're not a physical object, it's just a numerical object that we're thinking about. A home run is 1 for each time you come around the base. So there are 9 innings. Those are the groups. He's scoring 5 home runs each inning. Each inning or each group. So how many objects for each group? 5 home runs for each inning. And if we count by 5s, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. 45 home runs that he scored. Again, that's a pretty high scoring baseball game. But it's just to get you thinking about your understanding behind division and multiplication. Peggy bought over 7 bags of books to the library for their annual book drive. So she brought to the library 7 bags of books. So a bag could be considered a group. Then it tells you each bag contained 8 books. How many books did Peggy donate to the book drive? So we know how many bags there are. We know how many books are going to be in each bag because we're not sharing books. We're not taking the books and putting them into the bags. We have to find how many books that she donated. So we're looking for, this is a multiplication, another multiplication, and we're going to use the bags as the groups, and we have 7 of them. So I have 5, and then 6, and then 7. And there's 8 books in each bag. Now, remember, we can always use our understanding of the distributive property to help us with this. So we want the total books. However, if I break up these 7 bags as 5 bags of 8, which would be up to this point right here. Oh, excuse me. Not there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. 5 bags, which would be right up to here. 5 groups of 8, and then another 2 groups of 8. I can use my distributive property to help me with my multiplication. If I don't know 8 times 7 really quickly in my head, I can use my 5s and my 2s to help me with the number of objects in each bag. So in this case, everybody probably knows what 5 times 8 is 40, and 2 groups of 8 is 16. And when I put those together, my total is going to be 56 books. That's my total. So now I can take my understanding and write myself a multiplication sentence. So 7 bags, 8 books in each bag. And remember, we're labeling these, and we get 56 total books. That's all the books put together. So it's like us taking all the books out of the bags and knowing how many books there were. Now, if this was a division problem, we would have probably heard Peggy has 56 books. She's going to put the books into 7 bags, And then it would have been how many books are in each bag. And we would have been taking the amount of the large amount and putting them into 7 smaller groups. So that's the difference between the idea of a multiplication sentence and a division sentence. So hope you're checking these. If you need to make corrections, you will be turning these in next week. So make sure that these are complete and are labeled. Thank you and have a great day. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the Schoology and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a good one.